Good afternoon. Greetings from the hostage diaries. Today I'm going to, and I understand the joke about this is the epic joke, but it actually makes me feel like I have a sense of accomplishment to my day that are just nothing but totally fucking wasted. I mean, wasted just beyond any capacity. And you can only understand the amount of wasted feeling as to what I actually, the actualization to the realization. This whole spread that I'm being just split apart as far as screwed as much as possible, as far as the game is to screw me as much as possible. So my inability to accomplish anything because of a lack of resources. I can't go for a ride. When I used to get stressed out, the kidnappers, the stalker kidnappers, people were watching me. They knew it. So when I used to get all stressed out, I used to go take a drive. So what happened? Take away the car. So now I can't do that. They're trying to destroy me. They want to. That's the Chris Jackson joke. We're talking, decades, literally, of torture to prove that the system is God Almighty Creator. The body is nothing, worthless without the system. That's the whole reliant revenge empathy that I'm forced within in order to be, and I'm taught these lessons at the expense of, the reality of what I should be in life or could be based upon the body I was dealt, and then I was hijacked and kidnapped and plugged into the matrix to power this big game grid, and I am a slave to it. And they are desperately addicted to the superpower. And they're also, well, perpetuation keeps the bill from coming. It's like I pay the bill by keeping the party rolling. They don't want to change the logic, because the logic right now is I pay the max and I get the minimum, and then I'm empathetic to their plight, and I'm a beauty shop. And, it's the greatest deal in the history of the world to prove how bad I am at business. And there's all these terrorist rules. Don't negotiate with terrorists is the big joke. But the ransom of Red Chief is even ransom old new core. Yeah, that's really what they're trying to get as much. They've figured out ways, and it's going to catch up with them eventually. But they're trying, like I said yesterday, they're going to try to get as much out of it as possible. So these little lectures may give me a sense of accomplishment in my pathetic life of nothing. My entire day is wake up, and I usually lay in bed, and I'm just in a terrible mood because I can't really do anything. I've tried the emails, I've tried the phone calls. I'm trying. I admit I'm not great at hunting it out. That's the kidnapper terrorist rule. You got to be a death of a salesman hunter. Go out and scratch golfer mentality, handicap. We're going to make you empathetic. I don't understand why. I have scholarships, I guess, tuition and scholarships, cash converters, or whatever it might be. But yeah, I got to be empathetic to the lowest cheap common denominator in order to get their money's worth. That's the mini Pearl joke. They want, like I said, they want me to hate my family because they hate me because they're forced to kidnap me. It's a kidnapping because they gambled years ago, the blah blah blah, kidnap me and screw it rather than building a bridge. If they would have built a bridge, they wouldn't have lost that much. They probably wouldn't have gotten as fat, which the fat is going to end up catching up with them. I am fat, but yeah, they wouldn't be as fat, but they wouldn't have lost a lot. But they just it was hate and envy and greed, the lynch mob, and that's when the purple haze or whatever you want to call it. They wanted to prove they were brave, which is wacky, crazy, stupid, because it's a massive gamble. It completely screwed up the entire world. But they're untouchable special because of the blood doping. They use the super powered St. Louis King of France blood dope. So they're infallible. Field of dreams. Build it, they will come. So whatever they do, the system, the world changes for them. They're that special. And even though the source is relegated to nothing. It goes back to they're trying to worship the system as creator. So this, yeah, you don't matter unless the system creates you, and it doesn't matter who you are. But then they need, and that's what's going on globally. I think what's going to happen is they're going to go around the world and build this zoo, like matrix grid of VIP blood. They're going to build this like math formula. So they're going to take these poor slaves that have really good blood from around the world, plug them into their matrix and use them as drill bits to mutate their society to access the assets. It's a stupid gamble because obviously I'm not that smart and I figured it out. So obviously somebody else has an idea of what's going on as to this. So it's all about the torture. So my day is wake up in a fury. Am I gonna, it's just misery because I don't have any options. There's nothing to do. I just sit on the computer and hope somebody will rescue me like a damsel in distress. That's the whole other kidnapper brainwashing empathy torture was. The men are what they're trying to prove is how detrimental they hate Disney World. This whole Prince Charming mentality. So they have to make me the tangled damsel in distress to get rescued, Kermit the Frog. Because they don't want, it's all about brainwashing this machine. They want to worship machines. They love machines. Their gods are machines in these big, huge plastic factories. That's what they love. That's their god. Because that's their equalizer. That's what makes them so valuable and important. They hate blood, pure blood. You can't have pure blood unless you have cash to back it. I'm the example because I'm not allowed cash. So I have to be able to be fed. They have to feed me to be empathetic. It's really, really ridiculous. Whereas I was built to be a banker for the most part, which is stupid in itself because they just decided we don't want to bank. We want to live outdoors. We like it outside. Don't matter how tan we get. Don't matter how we got the weather to worry about, bugs, everything. Doesn't matter. We are outdoor hunter playboy peoples. They don't like banks. They don't like castles. So Prince Charming was brainwashed. And me being, like I said, I'm an acting bank officer, principal, taking it upon myself to do the right thing. As far as because I taught myself to read macro English, whereas most people read micro English. So I am then therefore trying to fix the problem, but they do not want that. That's why they are trying to, and then the joke about permanent marks. My marks don't, they erase my entire name is desecrated, everything is desecrated, but if the Playboy Mental system makes a mark, then it's permanent. They will fight for it. That's their mentality. Whereas they erase anything, they're trying to, it's all about ideology. They don't like I was talking about, they hijacked man and implanted a Trojan horse variable in place of it. And so it's double dipping, double negatives. There's debit. There's no, or credit. There's no payment. There's no balance, even though the math is crazy. Doesn't make any sense because there's no control at all. All based upon worshiping this omega hat in the bank. It's like going into a bank, and it's like office space, really. Or they just plugged in a Trojan virus that extracts all the money, and now they're burning down the bank. And then they're transferring all the assets elsewhere. But they will not recognize the bank that was looted to supply the power. And they're trying to deem it as natural resources, even though the logic there is based upon, they're trying to logic base the amount of value cash that was derived from natural resources than the value cash of the land, the private ownership of land, versus zero me. So I'm at, even though I'm actually providing, you're taking this, I'm the refiner actually, refining I'm amplifying the values, as you would. So they take something worth $25, make it value it at $100, and I supply the rest. They do in between, but they don't equate for that. That's just magic, That's just Miracle Grow, I guess. It's just magic. They don't pay for that at all. Just amplification. So that's what my global estate that I'm not allowed to control or manage, because Don King only in America, um, is the Men in Black have to keep the that's sort of mentality. They have to keep that sort of thing going. So it's poison and equality for me. Okay, for every, I mean, I am not allowed. I am surrounded and stalked to be shrunk. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Now they are desperate to keep me shrunk, and I'm poisoned, literally, with everything. It's based on poor judgment. It's criminal contract, as you would, but there's no real law that's doing anything about it. Nobody's stopped it. Nobody's done anything about it. So it's all because of this worship of the matrix grid, this three-dimensional graph. Whereas the real world, the body, you can't really see this. It's what's going on in space, in Star Wars, or in inner space, or whatever you want to call it. It deals with your credit report. It deals with your value, your bank accounts. It deals with your club membership. It deals with your rank in society versus the value of your body. I'm a rare case because I'm used as I'm a keys, but I'm not able to use the keys. So it's a total dispersal. I don't receive. It's output. It's a double negative. I don't receive. There's no payment at all. Straight up slave, which is then deemed reverence for, it's really, that's what it is, straight up slavery, because, or free. There's nothing paid. So it's just outgoing, no income, because there's no incoming value, I am not able, that's where you get into the kidnapper terrorist rules. I'm not able to properly manage the bank. And I know this is all repetitive, but it makes me feel better. It feels like I accomplished something. I'm trying to escape. It's my castaway diary of the day, repetitive as you would. And the huge, huge joke of all the celebrities and all the very important idols who the media just stalks and hounds and they hate. And I can't even get any, even though I provide billions and billions and trillions of dollars literally in value to their energy, nobody pays any attention to me. So I have to the whole joke of the machine system stripper, Magic Mike the Tiger. So it's the Eiffel Tower stripper pole because of Jean Vianney, which is black. That's they're fighting for their slave. This is a war over there keeping their slave. They will not let their slave get away. Don King only in America. They're going to fight for keeping their slave. Don King only in America. So yeah, Eiffel Tower, the Jean Vianney, the Jules Verne restaurant, which in actuality was a lesson which America does not want. America wants their Krispy Kremes and their Dairy Queens and their Walmarts. They don't like Paris. It's ugly to America. That's an ugly town. Paris is one of the hidden, nasty, ugly to America. That's hideous, nasty, old. Who wants Paris? Well, you can have that's the mentality. They hate Paris, France. They hate. That's why it's the whole reversal of logic based on this matrix working. The value of the individual plugged into this scheme. So yeah, they're going to make Paris pay for Jules Verne because that's Don King. That's declaration of war. Trying to get there. Or what they were trying to teach was, if you want to build a proper a society, civilized, stable, strong, that'll last a long time, I should be fed, or I should be living on a plantation or an estate or a vineyard, able to, rather than being fed these multinational corporations, which I'm not totally against. It's just that it's all about bad judgment and overutilization. So I should be, the whole French Laundry Garden lesson, which I'm not allowed to. I am the most, and there's even substitutes. That's the joke about this. Well, somebody else in Louisiana is doing it for me, but they don't really matter. When I'm poisoned, it affects millions of people, millions and millions of people globally. These sacred idols that are taking the place of me. Oh, look, there's somebody with a nice farm that's feeding themselves and doing what they should do, and it might affect a few hundred or 1,000 people. But me being poisoned with fed is affecting millions and millions of people, and it's programming the way society grows and is developed. So that's what they're trying to do. It's poor logic, brainwashing, whatever it might be. So yeah, they put in these sacred idols. That's what Louisiana always did. It was like, well, even though I'm getting screwed, they think that the cat, if some sacred nobody idol jumps in and does the right thing for me, but I'm still. The problem is, it's a Trojan horse virus programming the whole state and poisoning the whole state. That one person, that's paper tigers, I mean, it doesn't really matter because the problem is poisoning the entire state. The entire state is being poisoned. They like the poison. It's like they've been screwed and brainwashed so long to worship the poison. That sort of mentality. They don't even, they're in a coma, brainwashed coma so bad they don't know what reality is anymore. That's what happened to my family. My family is amnesia, as you would. They do not know what reality is anymore. They've totally lost touch with it. And the system machine realizes they jumped on it. They're going for the blood. They're going for the throat. They do not want to give up any. But the problem is, it's really poor logic. So yeah, you've got these matrix addicts. It's like a body. You're living in a dome. They are. They really are. Because they worship the matrix grid as far as so there's climate control. We're talking about superhero characters in the matrix grid based upon this math formula. But in reality, you look at it. So actually, people are living in this bubble dome because they extreme worship of this grid, this inner space matrix grid, which is real because it's all based upon, and you're just now, and it's been going on a lot longer than the internet. Just now, people are able to see the reality and power of it, but it's been going on a lot longer. People just didn't have the ability to see it. Since Star Wars. Star Wars was about it. We live in the Death Star is like the Truman Show dome. It's a planet covered in domes, so you can't see what's underneath. And so there's climate control, it's control, they're gassed, they're brainwashed, they're told to think how they think, all based upon and it's run by a bunch of clones wearing body armor, which is a reality of it. That's the superheroes of it. Problem is, the danger, the balance is out of whack. If you're going to have a Death Star, you've got to have a natural planet, but they're just destroyed one side because you've got the double dipping Trojan horse variable, and so it's the inability to react or to balance the equation. So pulling strings on so many levels and games. That's why I used to joke about. I've known there was something strange, and I'm not like I said. I was stupid in a lot of ways, but I used to joke about I'm playing like on a 10-dimensional chessboard, which is a matrix for the most part, and but I'm not able to. And the kidnappers took offense to this because they even tied my hands worse because I've been joking about that for 15 or 20 years, joking about playing this multi-dimensional game of chess. I didn't want to. I was just pointing out that's the way my mentality. I believed in the Good Samaritan to a degree. There are 0 Good Samaritans. And I've got a godson that's named Sam. The lessons are there are 0 Good Samaritans in this country. They'll help their comrades. They will, they're like I was saying yesterday. If you're part of their gang, they'll fight, and they'll trade. They'll play that. They'll sit at the poker table and trade chips, which is basically cannibalism. But if you're not part of the gang, which I pay for their clubhouse or I pay for their dome, I power it, but they will not let me. They're all sacred. They all matter more than me because I've got to be empathetic to their plight because they figured out kidnappers can't. So my inability, I'm not allowed to partake. That's why every bite of food for me is a challenge. I am starved. It's a hunger game to keep me, because then I've got to be paralyzed in order to be free power. That's what it's all about. So yeah, I joked about years and years and years playing all these and I'm not that I wanted to, not that I was proud of it. I was pointing out the fact that that's how I felt most of the time, and a lack of control. I had zero control capabilities because I did a painting years ago when I was living over on Lovers Lane near the Battery General of this German expressionist. I used to read art books. I'd go to the library and read books. And I found this one that was perfect. It was a picture of a guy with a blindfold pulled up over so he could see with his hands behind. And I painted it as it was probably one of the best paintings I ever did. My father has it, hopefully. But it was a guy with his arms behind his back and the blindfold up and a shovel right next to him like he was going to be buried. But that's how I felt. I had no control. I couldn't steer. So I had to use. I was trying to use the Jedi mind force, which is I've been placed in these chambers to where my mind doesn't even have. They're figured ways to handicap any strength to where there's just zero, just dead. I mean, it's cremated for the most part. But yeah, that's how I felt, and it was an indicator of how my family was with their amnesia because they were brainwashed to think in this two-dimensional black and white world. And I wasn't smart enough to realize this or warn them soon enough, and so they fell into the trap. But yeah, they were brainwashed, like blasting the past in this bomb shelter in order to be held or easily controlled, manipulated. And but yeah, I'm stuck powering these games. And the joke about the Beau Ravages, I've never even been able to afford to go to the Beau Ravage once, literally, never able to. No, ever. When I lived in Baton, the only time when that Beau Ravage got built, I got massive attack. I mean, just whacked, massive attack. That's literally. They got really fucking pissed, and they our slave. It's they beat their slave into a. I mean, that's when the really bad. That was 1999. It was a warning. They are never wrong. These blood-doping kidnappers are never wrong. So I got massive attack and handicapped even worse. And that's when I pay for everything. And the kidnappers are bribing favors with other people who are giving me favors because of who I am in order to try to pay off. See, people owe me because they are using my power. So people try to pay me, but the kidnappers intercept and give me the shittiest end of the stick because they worship this bullshit Ponzi pyramid scheme of fraud. So it's like when the New York, the Hornets moved to New Orleans. I got on the day that I got hired to work at Landry's Fry Cook. And that's probably even the joke of why the Saints, who are so smart, Barry B. Benson, playing all the angles to keep me. They lost Shaw. They lost Freeport McMahon. They're about to lose Clico. They lost Shell to Houston because they want to be the fucking masters. How fucking crazy are these psychotic dope people, drunks, just wasted because they got to be the master. Psychotic, historic stupidity. So yeah, the day the Saints get to know, rather than letting me grow up to be able to defend myself, which I'm not allowed to grow up, because they shrunk me, they got to keep me small and contained. So yeah, I got a job as a fry cook. So now, if I want to play, I got to go be a fucking fry cook. That's the retarded kidnapper, terrorist, Dixie Mafia terrorist mentality. See, Savannah decided to they built a bridge with the New Orleans Mafia. So instead of building a bridge with us who pays, they backdoored us to build a bridge with the mob. And so they did. I'm not allowed to pay. I mean, I'm not allowed to play. I pay for everything because they have got to keep me young, shrunk, in control because it's free hoops and free hookers and free juice and free whatever. The cat house. That's what they're addicted to. The cat house. And I pay for everything. I pay for friends. I pay for everything. Anything and everything. They figure a way to charge me for it. Everything. Because I've got deep pockets. And they've got to justify. That's their Trojan horse map. Their Trojan horse is ways to screw me. The holes in that variable. The 1x is a Trojan horse. Rather than math, it's a debit. So they're getting paid on both ends. So then they're poisoning my body. Like I said, I should be living on a farm or a plantation where I can build walls. If I build walls, I'm not as vulnerable. I can move around. That's why I'm forced to be the J.W. Pepper joke vagabond. Because if I build walls, the poison isn't as strong. They want the max power to poison the world. They want the extreme poison. They're going to try to justify it as revenge for all the chemical plants, even though if they would have let me grow up, they would have had some defense against the chemical plants. That's the crazy, crazy, stupid law. Peanut logic. Peanut gallery logic. So, yeah, they've decided to revenge. That's why there was Pope Rat. And that's why the first time in 500 years, this is so crazy stupid. First time a pope has quit in 500 years has to do with my case, literally. And they're trying to teach lessons, but they're brain damaged from guilt, and so they refuse to learn. So it's all the deflector shields, puppets, and scarecrows. That sort of and voodoo and all this sort of stuff. And I'm the biggest voodoo doll. And then they make me pay for trying to escape or defend myself using defensive, any sort of defense. I'm not allowed to defend myself. I just have to grin and bear it, take it like a man, the joke of the Trojan man variable, Lords. So, Trojan variable. So, poison my body. So, rather than me living on a plantation where I build walls, I could set up an office, set up a den, to where I could move around. So when I'm out in society, it's like having armor. I'm not allowed armor. They want me so all the cat house whores are spread eagle wide open for anybody to screw. That's the sport of Johns and tricks rather than the sport of kings. Kings have a castle. The sport of Johns is the vagabond. I gotta worship the Johns and the tricks who pay out. The pimps pay out. They got a sweet deal. It really is a sweet deal. So they've got to keep me as vulnerable as possible, so it brainwashes my flocks to be as vulnerable as possible to get screwed, even though they don't even know they're getting screwed because they were brainwashed to this 2D black and white mentality living in a 3D macro world. That's the whole county and the parishes. They speak county, they don't speak parish, even though it's the parish grid matrix that is powering them. It's vulnerable. The varsity vulnerable. Me, who pays at the very matter least to power the whole scheme. So yeah, I should be living on a farm or a plantation with walls, but instead I am forced vulnerable to be screwed in order to poison the estate to be vulnerable. That's their knocking down some doors so they can get out all the goodies. And then they've got to make me empathetic. It's just beyond. So, that's my speech for today, even though I reiterated a lot of what I have said already. Poisoning, that's all I have. It really is just trying to understand the parameters of the matrix that I power, but I'm not allowed to, and I matter the least. Pay the most, matter the least.